Let's get serious. Ross Martin right in the middle of your screen there. Tucker Hibbert right next to him. Johan Liedman, you see the 324. Kyle Pauline working to the outside. You go the other way and it looks like that is Tremblay. So you've got your top three qualifiers right in the middle, just about ready to go green as they are under starters orders, as they are going to go 10 laps here. 10 laps.
And we're racing at Lake Geneva. Up the hill they go.
Oh, and it's a madhouse climb to the top of the hill. Look at Ross Martin. Martin out in front early on. Martin right behind him, Johan Liedman. Then you see the Pertex sled there. Where did Tucker Hibbert end up?
He's way to the inside.
Liedman saves it big time.
Barely hangs on. You saw right behind him. Tucker Hibbert saw the whole thing happen. Backed off a little bit to avoid catastrophe and therefore is way back in the pack. Meanwhile, there's Ross the Boss Martin at the top of the hill.
You know what? And for Ross Martin or anyone to win this race, exactly what needed to happen has happened. Tucker is back a ways. He's going to have to try to find some lines around this racetrack to take and go for the win or the podium. And you know what, like we said, he's a racer. He's going to continue racing. He's got the championship. There's no doubt about it. We claimed it last night. But watch Ross Martin as they take and go on, and Ross Martin is your stud boy hole shot winner.
That's great news for him, and what a race we've got, ladies and gentlemen. Still waiting to see that Monster Energy sled and that shot. Meanwhile, here's the running order. Ross Martin, Kyle Pauline, Cody Cam. Look at the youth at the front of this order.
And
off.
Nasty off is that would be the 106, Derek Ellis, as he gets his sled uprighted and will be back underway. You look at this, Hibbert currently back in 7th, but there's a couple of other storylines here. One would be Ross Martin and Tim Tremblay, only 2 points separating them. Right now, Ross Martin is 2nd place in points.
Yes, lots of race left to go, but Ross Martin had a first in his first heat, a dominant first in his second heat, and right now, whole shot into the front, and he is leading at Lake Geneva on the final night of the 2013 season. There's the battle on the screen right there. Tim Tremblay trying to find a way around Cody Cam, who sits in 3rd right now. Tremblay's in 4th. Cam is in 3rd. Tremblay knows he needs every spot he can get. Looks to the inside, can't make a move there.
And, of course, both those guys on the podium last night. Right now, Cody Cam the only one. Kyle Pauline, could this be his breakout race this year? They have been trying to get that 324 Polaris on the podium all year long. Kyle currently sitting in 2nd place, the green flag continuing to fly. Ross Martin out in front, Pauline, Tremblay, Cody Cam, Johan Liedman in 5th, and now Tucker Hibbert in 6th.
There's the battle, Tremblay, I should say Tucker to the inside right there of Johan Liedman, but up front, we mentioned it, Tremblay got around Cam, now sitting in 3rd place and sets his sights on Kyle Pauline. We know somewhere Levi Lavalle is yelling at the track, cheering on his young rider in Kyle Pauline. Meanwhile, Ross Martin continues to try to pull away. There's a great shot right there at the back of Pauline as he heads up the hill. Tim Tremblay trying to track him down. A sled is stopped on the track.
That is, I think that was Stills. Watch them as they take and go back up. Ross, of course, going to the top of the hill, and as we said, there was a 2-point difference. If you take and look at the points, if Ross was to win, he would get 25 points. If Tremblay was to take 2nd, 22 points. Martin, technically, unofficially, would be in 2nd place by 1 point.
We've got lots of racing to go there. 3 laps now in the books for Ross Martin. To the inside goes Tremblay. They head for the Amsoil finish line. Kyle Pauline, the young gun, trying to hold off last year's champion.
Hibbert moving up to 5th place. We'll keep an eye on that battle, too. But look at this here. There goes Tremblay.
That was a straight pass.
You know what, though? The only way that Tremblay can get into 2nd place in points, he's got to win this thing or hope for something to happen to Ross Martin.
How much would a win in this last race of the year, the first win for him on the season, mean to Tim Tremblay?
Let's take and set the orders. They're going up the hill here. It's still Martin. There you see your race leader. Then Pauline. Tremblay's gotten by him. Pauline. Cam's still in 4th. Hibbert, as we indicated, up to 5th. Then it's Liedman, Malinowski. And you know what? Jake Scott sitting in 9th place. Not a bad position for him, being a first-time pro rider.
Couldn't agree more. And I'll tell you one thing to consider as well, as we have not gotten 4 laps into this yet. I know he's sitting back in 5th place. Tucker Hibbert is not out of this race. I can't wait to watch how this race continues to to develop. Meanwhile, we look back up front. There's second place. That's last year's champ. That's Tim Tremblay trying to reel in Ross Martin. There's your leader through the doubles, through the FXR final turn, headed towards the AMSOIL finish line, and over he goes.
Working on lap number 4. We aren't even halfway here. 10 laps around this monster track. A track, as we have said many, many times, can eat you up and spit you out no matter who you are. You see T-Train there climbing the hill, trying to find a line that will move him in. As Hibbert, of course, now up into 4th place, trying to track down Kyle Pauline, as he will take and work around the rest of the field.
He got around Pauline, and now he's in 3rd place. Tucker Hibbert has made it to the podium. Can he track down Tim Tremblay? Can he track down Ross Martin? We'll find out as the race continues to develop.
This guy is a rider like you would not believe. Tucker Hibbert up into 3rd place. Ross Martin still out in front. There you see, I believe that's Tremblay right ahead of him.
It is.
Martin on the way up the hill already. There is your race leader, just about to the crest. He's got about a 1.5 seconds lead over Tim Tremblay. It'll be interesting this time down, Hawk, to really get some intervals and look at times around this racetrack. Tremblay last time ran a 1:08.911, but I'll tell you what, I think Tucker Hibbert ran a faster lap that last lap.
There's Ross Martin, your leader. 5 laps in the books. We are halfway through. Look at the top 3 right there. Tremblay to the outside. Tucker Hibbert now edging up on 3rd. We spoke about it early in the race. He was all the way back in 7th. Suddenly he's contending for 2nd place, Mike.
He did exactly what I told you. That was the fastest lap of the race for all of these racers and for Tucker Hibbert. That last lap, a 1:07.402. So he's 2 seconds a lap faster than Tim Tremblay and Ross Martin.
Ross Martin's got to hope that if he is going to get around Tim Tremblay, that Tim holds Tucker up a bit, because obviously Tucker Hibbert is the T-Train and he is on a rail right now. Ross Martin trying to run away and hide. We are 5.5 laps into the final AMSOIL Pro Open feature of the year. There's your battle for 2nd, the black number 11 of Tim Tremblay, and of course that black and green 68 back there is the Monster Energy of Tucker Hibbert. Meanwhile, there's Ross Martin over the doubles and into the FXR final turn once again.
There you see Tremblay. Tremblay working as he goes back around down the hill and coming across the AMSOIL finish line here. And then
Tremblay
back down in the
loose.
Corner.
Tremblay got a bit loose right there. Here comes Tucker, but I'll tell you, as quickly as Tucker got there, it's taken him quite a time to capitalize on the move there by Tim Tremblay.
Martin still out in front. Ooh, Ross, why don't you make us wake up here just a little bit? Boy, this track is just so rutted up and so chewed up here.
And this race means so much to the 1st and the 2nd place racers. They want this so badly. Ross Martin would love to win in front of his home track fans here in the final race of the season. There you see it, though. The battle continues down that short stretch. They'll make the left and head for the Air Force flyaway. It's still Tim Tremblay in 2nd, just ahead of Tucker Hibbert.
Green flag continuing to fly as we watch all of the leaders work their way down the hill and across that finish line. It's Martin, Tremblay, Hibbert, Pauline in 4th, and Cam, Johan Liedman, Malinowski in 7th, Broberg, Emma Lohman, Jake Scott in 10th. Those are your top 10 riders.
Look at this. Again, Tremblay riding, doing all he can, but he cannot get to Ross Martin, who continues to lead. 7 laps in, 3 laps to go. Tremblay loose on the front stretch. Once again, Tucker Hibbert looks to the inside.
This is where they try to slingshot on that uphill. Look at, here comes T-Train over the flyaway.
He got him.
Yeah, he's got inside position right there.
Shuts the door. Watch out, Ross Martin. Here comes Tucker Hibbert.
All right, now let me throw another scenario at you and just muddy the waters a little bit more. If T-Train gets around Ross Martin and Martin takes 2nd and Tim Tremblay takes 3rd, they tie for 2nd place points.
What's the tiebreaker? Last finish would be the tiebreaker, so that would give it to Ross Martin if he finishes in 2nd ahead of Tim Tremblay. But the race isn't over. Ross Martin still has the lead, and we have just over 2 laps to go. When we come around here, he's coming down the Hemi Highway right now. He'll make this hard right-hand turn over those doubles and into the FXR final turn.
Martin looking over his shoulder just a couple of times. He's still focused. 2 laps left to go. Martin can taste this one, but yet don't become too comfortable. There's still a lot of racing left as here comes T-Train. Martin ran a 1:10.513. Tucker running a 1:09.949, so about a half second faster than Ross Martin. But as you take and watch these guys, Hibbert just about 3 seconds behind.
There you go, Ross Martin. You see a great lead for Ross Martin, and just 2 laps left in this race. If Tucker could catch him, it would be unbelievable. Right now, Ross Martin, a 2, almost 3 second lead as he heads down the short straight at the top of the hill.
Tell you what, going into the summer knowing that you beat Tucker Hibbert in the last race and took second place in points, that's going to be a little easier to swallow than if Tucker's able to sneak up and make a pass on you here.
Couldn't
Ross
agree more.
just needs to take good lines, needs to concentrate. He knows what's working well for him. He loves this racetrack. He's got about a lap and a quarter left to go as he comes down the highway, but look at how Tucker is charging hard here.
Here comes Tucker Hibbert into the FXR final turn. He'll see the white flag. Here comes Ross the Boss Martin. Can he hang on for one
And
more
it's
lap?
a half a second. Hibbert ran a 1:08.627. Martin a little over, almost a 1:11. Watch them as they go uphill. Ross is going to try to make that sled as wide as he can. If Tucker gets close, he's just got to take his lines away and force Hibbert to take a line he's not happy with.
Ross down the hill, Tucker right on his tail. Who can get to the turn first? The Nielsen Enterprises turn one final time for Ross Martin. The white flag lap.
2 more uphills to go. Here goes Ross up that Arctic ascent. He'll get to the top, make the turn, and it's going to be down the U.S. Air Force flyaway.
Around that hard left-hand turn and down the hill they come. It's Ross Martin just ahead of Tucker Hibbert. Back up the hill they go.
This is where T-Train made a pass, and there's a lapper. Oh, and he lets both of them by. So now down the highway they come.
Can he catch him? Tucker Hibbert looks to the inside, now the outside.
Boy, he carries a lot of speed there.
Over the final double, inside Tucker Hibbert, the FXR turn. It's a drag race to the finish line. Who will take it? Ross Martin has done it.
Ross Martin won by 23/100ths of a second.
What a race to end the 2013 season.
That AMSOIL Pro Open final. Ross Martin taking the win, as we indicated, 23/100ths. Look at Tony Juddy out there. Cricket, all of the crew chiefs and all of the members of that team. There's Tom Jr. Look at that. Bender is out there. They are some happy campers.
What a race. I don't care who you are a fan of. You had to see that to believe it. The best show on the snow continues to be AMSOIL Championship Snowcross presented by Traxxas. A high five from Tucker Hibbert to the boss, Ross Martin. A giant win. Tim Tremblay, by the way, did come in third. That will put Ross Martin second place in the points.
Second place in points. Let's go through the entire order here. Ross Martin taking the win. Look at Tony, his mechanic. He's as excited as anyone down there. And I'll tell you what, well, he should deserve. He worked hard to get that sled set up right. We said last night that Ross Martin did not feel comfortable on the sled all day yesterday. They had a long meeting. I stopped by the trailer